Imagine something larger than this. She hurls it at him. Hello and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Triana and this is Killer Dishes. On this channel, I'm gonna be teaching you how to make some kind of yummy little morsel or a little snack, something to serve to your snobby little guests when they come over. It's gonna be a good time. I usually also tell you about some kind of gruesome murder, but what I have been fixated on and the case that I have been working on is the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. We are all fixated on this trial. Everybody's got an opinion on it. I just got my hair done. The lady in the chair next to me was talking about it. My stylist was talking about it. Everybody's talking about what's going on with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Today, I'm going to focus on the finger. R.I.P. to Johnny Depp's middle finger. I'm also going to be teaching you how to make, appropriately, finger sandwiches. Let's get started. I have been watching this trial from the beginning, from opening statements. I did not let myself fall into watching the TikTok public court of opinion. The focus that I want to make today is specifically on Australia. When I watched Amber Heard's testimony of what was going on in Australia, I gotta say, I immediately sided with Amber. What she described was so brutal and so violent and really disgusting, to be honest with you.
He shoves me up against the fridge. He has me by the throat.
When I was watching it, I thought to myself, how on earth is Johnny Depp gonna come back from this? There's no way to come back from this. I mean, some of the testimony, just take a look for yourself.
I had a bruise across my jaw, I suppose, from one of the many times he clocked me in the face downstairs.
It was really ugly, guys. It was just brutality, it was violent. It was something I wouldn't wish on anyone. What Amber describes that Johnny did to her it's rape.
Johnny had the bottle inside of me, shoving it inside of me over and over again.
I would have been on the next plane back to LA. I mean, who knows how anybody would react in this situation, but what she described was a violent rage.
He's throwing these bottles at me.
He's beating the crap out of her, playing Marilyn Manson. I mean, that's also the most troubling part. One of the most troubling things of this is that this guy's friends with Marilyn Manson. I am very turned off by Johnny at this point. So the next thing that I do is, okay, listen, like, we've got to be fair. We've got to measure out the weights of the law here and listen to both sides. That is part of our American justice system. Now, his story seemed to follow a much more clear sequence of events. What Johnny has testified to is that Amber has showed up to Australia heated. Why? Because she's just come from a meeting with Johnny's lawyer to discuss a post-nuptial agreement. Fair enough. The guy's got a lot of money. The guy's got a lot of property and assets to protect. Not a smart move on Johnny's part already. But you know what? Love is blind, guys. So Johnny describes that Amber shows up and says,
I'm not even in your will.
The lawyer said, Johnny is fully aware of all of this. I don't know, call me old-fashioned, but I would like to know that I'd have some kind of security if something horrible were to happen to my husband. And Johnny actually says,
I thought that was an odd thing to say.
Is it, Johnny? Is that a weird thing to say? I'm not saying he should give her the whole farm. I mean, he's been very rich and famous for very many years, and he had all of his wealth before Amber Heard came on the scene. But I think that she deserves something. And also, if vice versa, if it were the other way around, if she were the one that had all of the money, then in theory, she would want her husband to be provided for if something were to happen to her. It's a two-way street. Johnny describes that Amber showed up in Australia.
She was irate. She was irate and she was possessed.
And she is screaming at him about the post-nuptial agreement.
So I just told her those were not my intentions. I was not out to screw her over or put her in a position that was uncomfortable.
Johnny's testimony is that he has now retreated out of his locked bathroom because he thinks that the coast is clear.
I think that I ended up locking myself in about at least 9 bedrooms, bathrooms that day.
And this guy needs a drink after this. I mean, he's, you know what? His 4, 5, whatever months of sobriety, it's done. He himself has already established that he has some substance abuse problems.
I went behind the bar. I grabbed a bottle of vodka that was there and a shot glass. She was nowhere around. And I poured myself 2 or 3 stiff shots of the vodka.
So I'm sure it was incredibly disappointing for Amber to come and see him just doing shot after shot after shot.
Then she came down to the bar and found me there. And of course started screaming, "Oh, you're drinking again, the monster," and all that. So she walked up to me and reached and grabbed the bottle of vodka, and then just kind of stood back and then hurled it at me.
I don't want to be in this relationship. I don't want to be in this house. I don't want to be friends with these people. This is not the couple that I want to hang out with. Then Johnny, being the alcoholic that he is, he's got another bottle. He's fine. It's cool. It's fine. Whatever. He then pulls out, hold on, actually, it's not the right size. I thought I had the jug kind. Okay, it's fine. Johnny then pulls out a huge jug of vodka, okay? And he's pouring shots from this now. I don't have shot glasses. We're not that kind of household here. But imagine something larger than this. She hucks this at him, and he's got his hand on the bar. She hurls it at him.
And it made contact and shattered everywhere. I was looking directly at my bones.
People are called, people are coming, his doctor comes, the nurse comes. They're looking for the finger. Where is the finger? We've got to reattach the finger. By the way, side note, just found out that if you ever cut off your finger, don't put the finger on ice. No, that's not what you want to do. You want to wrap it in gauze, okay? Back to the story. And Amber's in the background, and they're treating her with Seroquel, but Amber's version of the story is that she's been punched so many times. Why are the doctors and the nurses not talking about treating her bruises? They're just talking about sedating her. We've got a doctor and a nurse here, and allegedly a woman that's just been pounded on, and Amber, testified that Johnny always wears rings. You've seen him wearing the rings. We've all seen these giant chunky rings. Why are they not freaking out that she's covered in blood? The description of these two people's accounts could not be more further apart. Like they are so far apart in their details of what happened here. What Amber describes is absolutely nothing to do with the post-nup. So I'm thinking, what are we fighting about then? Amber's testimony is that she shows up to Australia, Johnny's already hitting the bottle hard, and not only that, he's got this huge stash of MDMA.
He pulls out a bag of MDMA, and I wondered if it was the drugs. I wondered if it was him.
And he's like, from what she described, it was like a handful of pills. She said that he took like 8 to 10 MDMA pills. Like, Johnny, whoa, pump the brakes, brother. Like, too much. That does not sound like a good time. She just like launches into, Johnny is wasted, he's cursing at me, he's throwing bottles at me like it's like frickin' World War III all of a sudden, but there wasn't really any context to how this violent rampage started. It just keeps getting worse, guys. It just keeps getting worse. But hold that thought, because we are about to create the cashew spread for our finger sandwiches. Now that part is kind of like a choose your own adventure situation. You can make it crunchy or you can make it really smooth. I like mine with a scooch, a little bit of crunch. So I don't want to zap it too much. Okay, so back to the story, guys. Amber goes on to say that she doesn't remember how the night ended. She just remembers going up to her bedroom and taking some sleeping pills and going to bed and waking up the next morning, and Johnny is still raging, playing Marilyn Manson.
I could hear him downstairs.
And as she's descending the staircase, there's brown writing and stuff on the wall, which no, it's not the dog poop. That's a different section of this case testimony.
And the brown on the walls became clear, like lettering. And oh, by the time I got down to the bottom of the stairs, the dried blood had been kind of taken over by paint. It was blue, navy blue paint, and then brown paint.
This is a rented home. If you ever stay in an Airbnb or rent a home, please don't trash somebody's home like that. Don't go full Johnny Depp, like, not cool. So she finds him with this bloody stump.
Figured out he was missing a finger. He kind of held it up, and I said, "What did you do? When? Like, what did you do? When?" And I realized in my head that there had been many hours since this probably happened. I think he took them down or somehow showed me, and he said, "Look what you made me do. I did this for you," something to that effect. I said, "I'm going to call 911 if you don't call Jerry now."
And he wanted a Red Bull, but she thinks that for some reason, and she even testifies to this, she doesn't
know why coffee would be so much better, but in my head it was.
So she hands him a cup of coffee, which he then hurls across the room at her again. I mean, bullets are flying everywhere. So Amber's testimony is that she was not present for the severing of the finger. Now, in the audio, the doctor's looking for the finger. Amber's in the background apologizing. So it sounds like she was present for the severing of the finger, but she didn't testify to that. Okay, so you can make your sandwich toasted or not toasted. I like my sandwich toasted. It's a choose your own adventure, so I'm just gonna quickly toast this bread. Okay, so now that my bread is toasted, I'm just assembling the sandwich here, guys. So really, there is no conclusion to today's video because the trial is still going on. My conclusion here is that this relationship was toxic AF. This is how you make a finger sandwiches, guys. What makes a finger sandwich is that you cut them up really small, finger-sized sandwiches. That's why it's called a finger sandwich. I like to really party with this sandwich. Guys, by the way, while I'm assembling this sandwich, just wanted to quickly show you that this, right here, this is how you cut a cucumber. You never want to do this, and you definitely don't want to do this. Kendal, listen, I got you, girl. So guys, in conclusion, there really is no conclusion. The trial's still going on. It's set to end Memorial Day weekend, roundabout there. So I guess we will see. I mean, in my opinion, both parties here are guilty AF. I think it's ugly all the way around. There is no reason on the planet to become physically violent with anyone. You're gonna just cut your finger sandwiches very small, like that. Now, this is only if you're gonna serve them to snobby guests, okay? And then you're gonna wanna put a little toothpick in it and make it pretty like that. But if you're making this for yourself, you're gonna eat it how you want. You know what? Just tear into it. Just tear into that baby and go for it. That's it. Okay, voila, that's it. Thank you so much for coming to my kitchen. I want to thank today's sponsor, who is my husband, who has included me in his will. He will also never watch any of my videos because he absolutely hates true crime. But I'll see you next time. Oh, and by the way, I'd totally love it if you guys could like subscribe or like hit that bell icon or leave even a hateful comment. You know what to do. Thanks again for coming to my kitchen. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time on Killer Dishes.